Hello friends, my name is Habib. Today we're going to learn how to create particle system using Scratch. So before we do that, normally we would use clones. And so clones, clones. So normally we would use clones to create particle systems, but for particle systems there are going to be millions of particles, and clones, you can only have 255 clones at one time. So meaning that we only have a max limit of 255 particles, meaning that using clones is not feasible. So we'll have to use pen. As the name suggests, pen allows you to draw in Scratch. So now I will replace this ordinary Scratch cat with a simple circle. Hold shift to make it with a simple circle. Actually, a simple square. No, simple circle. And now the pen down creates a mark. If I write move 10 steps and pen down, every 10 steps is going to be drawing. I can set the pen size, change the pen size, set pen color, and pen up. Yeah. So now, apart from the Scratch pen thing, and we erase all to erase everything, so I want to create a particle system. So to create a particle system, I have multiple particles. If I want to manage all those particles, I need to make a list for all sprites, and this will contain the X position of the particles. This will contain the Y position of the particles. Hey, why is it still doing this? Erase all. Move. Hey, it's still drawing. Delete. Make new sprite. I still have the X and Y variable. Erase all. And so now I have a new sprite. I'll make the costume to be a tiny circle. So now I have this. And so now I want to make a particle system. So first, let me set some things first. Before I create the particle system, I need to set some mixers at some six. First of all, when I start this Scratch project, I want to erase all of the previous particles, because as you may or may not know, which you may know obviously, if you use pen, then you cannot then when you stop running the project, the pen is still going to be there. You are going to have to use erase all to erase it. And next, I want to set the pen size to 10. Next, after setting the pen size to 10, pen color, no, not pen color. I don't really care about the pen color. Yeah, actually I'm going to set the pen color to black. But black is the best color. So anyways, I think we've gotten everything. So now, what I want to do is that in programming, there are these things called loops, for loops and while loops. Now, I'm going to do this. Repeat for all sprites n, which means number of particles. I will write repeat. First, I will set n to 5, set number of particles to 5. Then I will create those particles. Repeat n times. Add 1 to add a random value from -100 to 100 to x. And finally, add a random value from 100 to negative 100 to y. No, wait, actually, no, I'm not going to change the y, but I'm just going to set it to 0. Actually, I'm just going to set it to, like, I know, 50. So now it's going to add a random number, 5 of these to x, and yeah, these to y. And so these are particles x and y coordinates. The first element represents the first particle, the second element represents the second particle, etc., etc. So forever, now I want to move the particles. If I want to move the particles, I will have to change the number in these lists. Now, before I do that, I am going to have to, well, repeat n times. Anyways, before I do that, I'm going to actually have to draw the particles. First, I'll make the squash cast to go to the x and y of these particles. Now the thing is, this x and y, there are lists, and obviously, how is this sprite meant to go to all of these locations at the same time? If we put the entire list in here, then that means the squash cat will have to, no, not the squash cat here, this sprite will have to go to all these locations at the same time, which is not possible. So I have to write item n of list. Item n of x, which means the nth item of x, and item n of y. And now change n by 1. Set n to 0. So basically what this does is that it repeats n times. For n times, it goes to x, and wait, no, I made a mistake. It's meant to be set my variable to 0, change my variable by 1. Set my variable to 0. So basically, it's going to repeat number of particle times, which is the number of x and y coordinates in the list, which is 5 in this case. It will change my variable by 1. It is going to go to the my variables item of x and y. It will set the x and y position of the sprite to the my variables item of the, this. And then after the loop finishes, it will set my variable to 0. Now this is basically just a for loop, but in Scratch. Scratch makes everything much more complicated since, well, duh. Now you can see this is spazzing out. Hey, why is it length 10? I forgot to empty the list. Where is it? Delete all of x, delete all of y. So now you can see it's spazzing out. That is because it's going to all these different locations at the same time. Next, we have to draw it. I can use pen down to draw it. And so now, you're going to see many different dots. Pen is a continuous line. So if the sprite jumps from here to here, it's going to draw a line connecting where it originally was to where it went. So I am going to have to use pen up. Maybe pen up before pen down. It still does that. Anyways, apart from that, I'm going to fix that later. So now, now what do I want to do? Now, if I want to move this, now I cannot increment this by 1, or can I? I cannot increment this by 1 because, well, for some reason I can't do that. So I will have to replace item my variable of x with item my variable of x plus 1. This basically just increments each variable of each element of the list by 1. Why isn't this working? Enter. So now this will increment this by 1 each frame. Come on, duplicate. For some reason duplicate doesn't work. Now for now I'm going to set or probably not for now, I'm going to set this to y, since you don't really care about the exposition. And oh, this is meant to be -1. -1. And now we don't really care about the y position, so it's going to be falling. Let me increase this to -3. Now the only problem is that, well, we don't want this. I'm going to add erase all here, but each time it's going to be erasing the previous instance of this pen thing. Pen down, okay, pen up. There we go. I put pen up after pen down, and now it shows each individual dot falling. Now we don't really want the sprite. The sprite is useless here. The sprite is just here to draw these particles per se. Not per se. So I'm going to hide the sprites. Hiding the sprite doesn't affect the pen, and now it looks like, well, it is pretty low quality, but that doesn't really matter. But now it kind of looks like it's flickering on and off. Well, that is because it is very slow. I mean, the sprite, it's showing us that the sprite, it continually draws this, it goes here, draws this, goes here, draws this, goes here, draws this. Yeah. But we don't want to be seeing all those nitty-gritty details. That's not really our concern. So I'll make a new block called fast, run without screen refresh, which for now, not for now. So I'm going to put input fast instead. You can see it. Whoops, maybe it's going a bit too fast. Minus 0.1. -1. I was not drawing. Let me move this pen up. Remove this, erase all. Now it's much faster. Put the erase all before the drawing. There we go. And finally, I'll put the pen up. And now we don't see that flickering effect anymore, and they're falling down with grace and peace. I'll create a new variable called dy for this sprite only this time. So dy to 0, change dy by 1. Then change y by minus dy. Now the particles look like they have physics. Hooray! Next, I am going to make the number to be more, and then I'll increase the range to -200 to 200. I think 50 particles all falling down on the screen. Great. The y max is out on -180. Let me try this. If this is less than 179, number just before 180, if the item y my variable of y, if it is less than 179, then set dy to 20. whoops, to minus 20. Oh, oh no, everything's going up. Is this less or greater than? Is this greater than 179? Doesn't seem to be working. Oops. Plus dy. And then change dy by -1 instead. Change this to 20. Minus 179. Yes. Oops. If item variable of y is less than 10, okay, is less than -179. Finally, it's working, except that, well, the problem is that this dy is general for all the variables. Now, if I want, wait, let me check the length of the video. This video is getting quite long. Now, if I want to add dy to each individual variable, I have to create a new, but it's called dy, and then do what I did before. Change, replace item, my variable of dy with item, my variable of dy -1. I will replace this with item, my variable of dy. And now I'm also going to add, for here I'm going to add number 0 to dy, since, well, that's what it's meant to dy to. That's what dy is meant to be. And now, then to my variables y, set, where is it? Replace item, my variable of dy with 20. Then my variable of dy with 20, and it should work. Yes, it's working. Now I want each thing to fall at different speeds. So how do I do that? Let me think. Whatever I did is to pick random 1 to 10. No, I meant whatever I set the y position to random instead of just setting it from, well, yeah. Yes, we've done it. We've created a proper particle effect, whatever you call it, in Scratch. Now, the thing about this is that, well, if you want to be using this repeatedly over and over, if you want to be using this particle effect repeatedly, whatever you call it, repeatedly over and over again, then you're going to have to abstract it inside of some kind of function and be giving it value. For example, you add value to this fast function, for example, randomness, start position, end position, etc. And finally, as we always do, a background. Yes, not like background is the most important part, but it is. A quick background. along with a square, a giant square, a rather giant one. No, a rather giant square. I'm going to go back, and yeah, there we have it. Lastly, I'm going to set pen color. Setting it to 50. I'm going to set it to a random value between 1 and 255. Oops, I'm not meant to do it here. What if I do it here? Yikes, what happened? Whoa. Whatever. Anyways, that's it for today's video. Hope you enjoyed it. Subscribe to my channel, ObaCode. Bye.